Hello and welcome to the class PM. And in previous videos we have discussed about the sexual reproduction and various moods of the sexual reproduction. In this video we are going to talk about the other mood of sexual reproduction which occurs in higher plants. In previous videos we have discussed sexual reproduction mostly in the lower organisms, but in higher plants the sexual reproduction also occurs. And this mode of reproduction is called the vegetative propagation. This vegetative propagation, which occurs in the higher plants, is classified into two subtypes. One is the natural vegetative propagation, as second one is the artificial vegetative propagation. What is natural vegetative propagation and why is it necessary? We're going to discuss in this session. I have some examples of natural vegetative propagation, that is the runners in the gladius. Then second is the rhizome in the ginger. Then third is the sucker in the mint. And fourth is the tuber in the potato. See, you have seen in potato and you have seen the eye of the potato. That bulb is actually the modified stem. And this modified stem develops as a result of the excessive cell division at a particular place. And that stem may undergo the process of the reproduction. There second plant arise. A plantlet may arise from that bulb. That is a tuber. This is also called the eye of the potato, and this is the method of the vegetative propagation. This stem of the potato separates, or the plantlet may arise from that very bud of the potato, and it may give rise to a new plant. This is the natural method of the vegetative propagation. Similarly, the mint suckers in the mint. This is the method of the vegetative propagation. In the mint, where a sucker develops and those suckers develop separately later on to give rise in complete plant. Then there is ginger. We have seen the ginger. This is not the thing we can explain it because rhizome is very common. Might have seen it. Rhizome in the ginger. Those bulbs in the ginger. Plantlets may develop from those ginger plant. Those rhizome may give rise to a complete organism. This is complete plant. This is a method of the vegetative propagation in case of the ginger. The runner in the gladiolus. These runners are the small structures, multiple in number. These runners later on develop into a plants and they give rise to a separate plant. This is the method in the gladiolus, the method of the vegetative propagation, and this occurs naturally. These are the natural method of vegetative propagation, such as rhizome in ginger, such as sucker in mint, such as tuber in potato, such as runners in gladiolus. Please remember these names are very important. Please remember this runner in the gladiolus, then rhizome in ginger, then suckers in the mint, then tuber in the potato. This is actually adopted method of the vegetative propagation in order for the fast mode of the reproduction. This very fast mode of sexual reproduction in the higher plants. This has been adopted by the plant in order to show the very fast mode of reproduction. You have also seen the bryophyllum plant. Bryophyllum plants have those leaves. And those leaves, see at the margins of those leaves develop an adventitious buds. These adventitious buds later on detach from the leaves and they give rise to a complete plant. This is the mood of the reproduction, very fast mood of the sexual reproduction developed by the bryophyllum leaves. See, this is the diagram, this is the leaf, and these are the adventitious roots on the margin of this leaf, and these adventitious buds later on give rise to a complete plantlet. So this is the mood of the vegetative propagation in case of the bryophyllum. Apart from natural vegetative propagation, we have a second case, that is the artificial propagation, which includes the cutting, which includes layering, which includes grafting, spore formation, etc. So these are simply what is cutting. Cutting is the branch of a tree having a bud is being cutted and it is brewed in a moist soil, and this bud will later on develop roots and this may give rise to a complete plant. So you may have encountered these things in your daily life, how cutting is done. A branch of a tree is being cut, having a small bud, and this branch is later on buried in the soil, and these later on develop the roots, and these may give rise to a complete plant. See, I have seen here how cutting is done. This is a plant, this has been cutted, a branch has been cutted by a blade, and this bud has been buried in a pot having soil, and this gives rise to a complete plant. This is simply the method of the vegetative propagation are done artificially. And next mode of vegetative reproduction is the layering. In what layering is done, branch of the plant having bud, having a small bud with nodes are being bent out and they are being buried into a soil. They are deep and with a moist soil, and later on when they start developing, this branch is being cutted from the parent plant, and this gives rise to a complete plant. And this is the method of the artificial reproduction. We have seen it's a fast mode of the reproduction. I am explaining here that a branch of the plant has been bent out and it has been deep buried into a deep soil, moist soil, but this branch must have some buds, and later on this bud has been cut down from the parent plant, and this gives rise to a totally complete new plant. This is the layering method. Now next is the grafting method. What is grafting actually? In the grafting experiment, what is the actual method? We cut down the two plants separately at their stem. This is the plant number 1, this is the one plant number this has been cut here and joined together. It means that in one plant we have the characteristics of both plants. This is the grafting. Grafting is done, it is a very efficient method to give rise plant. In one plant you can have the characteristics of both plants, 2 or 3 plants as well, and 2 plants, the stem of the 2 plants are being cut down and then later on joined together to give rise to one plant in which both characters of 2 plants are there. So next phase of the reproduction is actually the spore formation. What is spore formation? The spores are small microscopic units called spores. These spores have an ability to give rise to a new organism. One of the common examples in which spore formation occurs, that is the rhizopus. These spores are small microscopic organisms. They are carried away from one place to another place by wind or by other means, and when favorable conditions return, these spores develop ability and develop into a complete organism under favorable conditions. This is the various methods of the reproduction. The regeneration is similar to but not identical to this fragmentation. Regeneration is similar to fragmentation. It is similar to fragmentation. It means that when a part of the plant body has been cut down, that part of the plant grows later on. It develops ability to grow into a complete plant, such as you have seen regeneration in the hydra. The bud of the hydra you have seen in the ciliatratus. Regeneration is very common in ciliatratus. Regeneration is also common in porphyrins as well. If you see a porphyrin, if a porphyrin is squeezed through a fine cloth, if you get a sponge and put it in a cloth and squeeze it in the cloth, the cell of one sponge, if it comes out from the cloth, it has the ability to develop into a complete new sponge. This is the process of the regeneration. Actually, regeneration is of 4 types. Let's see here what is regeneration, how it occurs. The regeneration is when a part of the original body detached from its parents, and it has the ability to grow into a complete new plant. This process is called the regeneration. This regeneration may be epimorphosis. This may be stem cell regeneration. This may be morpholexis. This may be compensatory. See, first we will discuss one by one in a brief view. Epimorphosis is when a part of a body is cut down. Suppose in case of amphibians, and the limb regeneration occurs. When a limb is being cut down, that limb regenerates in the new. Those cells are there at the cut site. Those cells undergo the process of the redifferentiation in order to form a complete new part. This occurs in amphibians. The second is the stem cell regeneration. Stem cell regeneration is simply stem cells have ability to regenerate itself. If a stem cell divides into 2, those stem cells have ability to form different structures up to a limited condition. Morpholexis occurs in the hydra. Simply part of the hydra is cut down at that cut site and new bud may develop. This occurs in mostly hydra. Now third is the compensatory. Compensatory occurs in human liver. What is compensatory? Compensatory means if a part of a liver is being cut down, then we say that it will regenerate. Actually at the cut site of the liver, those cells undergo the process of excessive cell division. They undergo the process of the mitosis. In order to complete that cut site, the human liver undergoes the process of the cell division. This is the form of the regeneration which occurs mostly in the humans. In the next video, we will discuss about the sexual reproduction and the various forms of the sexual reproduction. Thank you.